Hello and welcome to the 53rd episode of Rambling Weekly. And now I've now realized that my camera is all goofed up. There we go. But yeah, hi. I said it was gonna be a different episode earlier when I did the update thing. I'm actually changing that, shifting gears, and this is gonna be about I don't know, just gonna get a little personal. So, I'm gonna take a break and then we'll go do the episode. So stick around. So that song there is, I call it LAHAN, might be LAHAN. I'm gonna go with LAHAN, but it's the Millennial Fair and Mitsuda's Creed albums version. There's like 10 songs on there. It's really good. Personally, myself, Mitsuda's work on Xenogears is probably my favorite of his. I I get that it might not be what a lot of people would say is his best work, but part of that I think is also because of having the issue of making the music without really knowing anything about the game. Not really. If I remember correctly, he had to do it, or he did it before like the game was really worked fully out as much as it was. So if I'm wrong about that, let me know. Anyways, how's it all going? Hopefully you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good to a certain degree. Could be better in certain ways, but it is what it is. I got this like voice thing going here. Middle-aged puberty still hasn't quite left me. I think it's also because a lot of times when I'm just sitting and chilling or whatnot, I will sing awfully to myself and just kind of that might be playing a part in it. But yeah. So yeah, hopefully you're doing well, and the week is treating you good. Especially when this comes out, it'll be Friday, so hopefully it'll be like really good, and it'll lead into a fun weekend for you and stuff like that. Myself, I've been holding off. I don't know why I'm motioning over here. The book's over there. I haven't touched any of my editing yet. I was giving myself a little bit of a reprieve. I'll probably do some of that tonight. So today's Thursday, so I'm doing this early in the morning on Thursday before I go into work. So doing that, and then I've been holding off on that, so I'm going to get into that here soon enough. And then I've played a little bit of Unmetal. I didn't play as much as I wanted to, but I'm probably about halfway. I can probably get through that in the next couple days, and then hopefully next week I can do a little impressions and stuff on it and review or what have you. I've been making lists for myself lately. So I used to do it when I was younger, and I would do a daily list. And, a lot of times there were things on there that I knew I wouldn't be able to get finished, but it was also something to just prod me along. And I'm doing that again, but I'm shifting it over to like making a weekly list. I don't know if I like it so much because I know myself well enough to be like, oh, I see I have these 6 things here. I will just shove 4 of them off till later in the week, which defeats the whole purpose of a list. But yeah, so I might revert back to doing a daily list if that's what it takes. I seen the news about GoldenEye coming out on the Switch Online. That's nice. I'm excited for that. I love GoldenEye. It is got a special place in my heart. It's what else is going on? Is there anything else really going on? kind of, but not really. There's something maybe in the works, like hopefully, but don't want to get like too far out there because it involves a lot of moving parts. So there's at least something possible with a different like channel that I may be doing. So I'll keep you all aware of it as that goes along. That. Not really much else. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like a stupid animal that sees a mirror for the first time. Oh boy. I don't know. Yeah, that's really about it. I mean, I've just been busy with work and just a bunch of other kind of random things here and there. Oh, I guess the other thing, got to play with Slade there on synthetic last night. That was pretty fun. We didn't do too much friendly fire, so that's even better. So, yeah, I think that's about the extent of it. Really, I don't really have too much else to add. It's been, I don't know. It's been really quick, and I don't. Like I guess part of it's because I've had this past week the work has been, well, there was these 3 days I had off, and then during those 3 days I was super busy with writing and typing out the story and all that sort of stuff, and it's just it went into like hyper focus mode, and now I'm over the hill, so it's kind of like this weird decompression that it feels a lot shorter, like it's all sped up for me to like catch up to normal perception time for me, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it just kind of zoomed on by. It wasn't like I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, no, that works. But it just yeah, I just kind of zipped on by. Boop. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for the update and everything. I will take a break, and then we will get into kind of what this topic is. I feel like this is going to go off the rails really quick, so let's hope not. Welcome back. That there was, I've got them listed down because sometimes I forget titles between these things, and sometimes I literally would just hit the stop thing and then be like, okay, start to record again there. Secrets behind the curtain, I guess. Anyways, that one there's MELKABA, which I'm assuming is supposed to be MERKABA, but yeah, that's, I don't know, there's just a nice intro bit to it and stuff that I really like. I don't know, it's just something about it that just kind of pulls me in. I'm just like, ooh, yeah. Just like that. Anyways, so I guess I wanted to be a bit more personal on this one. And yeah, I'm still personal. It's more of a lot of times it's throwing out ideas and stuff as opposed to kind of me, even though sometimes there's those in there. More importantly, personal. I am a very bad person in that I have this bad habit of wanting to try to not necessarily fix people, if that makes sense. I know I've mentioned before, like, oh, I wish everybody was a problem and make it really easy to just try to, not necessarily that kind of mindset, but in the sense of, like, having the bad habit of, oh, I can see the potentiality of somebody, or at least what I perceive to be the potentiality of somebody, and what they are in reality don't quite mesh up. And also, what the gap between the two might be a lot more wide than what I'm thinking. It's like, oh yeah, just do a couple things here and there, and you're just on your way. And it's like, yeah. So I have that sort of problem that still kind of crops up every now and again, but it's I've learned and understood that that's something that I try to do, and obviously people don't appreciate that. and not to say that they should, but it is. I think it's because my parents have always been very loving, but they've also been very laissez-faire. So they, rightly or wrongly, were just like, do what makes you happy. Do what gives you joy. And to say this to an 8, 9, 10, 11, progressively turning into an adult human being, where are the blinders? They gave me the field, but they didn't give me any guidance on how to do anything with the field, how to cultivate it, how to do anything with it. It's just like, here is your field, enjoy. And so I would assume that the reason why I want to be more helpful, or at least more in the sense of trying to be guiding in some sort of way, is that I never got that. And so to me, I'm just like, hey, this is something I missed out on. I would like other people to do this. Do I do it all the times? Everybody? No. A lot of times, I guess I like to just kind of see like how people are doing, in the sense of, like, especially at work, of just what are your dreams? How are you getting those dreams and stuff? Because to me, like, dreams are important for two different reasons. One, there's the ones that are like potential that you can get as goals, and the other ones are there to keep hope alive. I think hope's a very important thing, and when you're hopeless, that's already like half the battle lost, kind of thing. Like, what can you start to do if you are hopeless? Like, yeah, I'm very, like, I like the whole nihilist thing. I get very upset. I know it's sort of simmered down a bit, but when people are like, oh, dank memes, we're all gonna die, kind of nonsense. And it's like, okay, yeah, baby's first step, but there are steps beyond that. That was to understand the, what turned into a bad concept because of how it got twisted. But the Ubermensch or the Superman, and sure, okay, we all gonna die, cool. It's like the most basic understanding of something. That's like giving up because doing anything because, oh, you look outside and it's gonna rain. Well, I can't do anything, it's gonna rain. What? But it's more of the idea of trying to strive to make yourself better, to go beyond what is seen as the limits, but to go beyond that and to continue and stuff like that. I don't like that hopelessness, and having dreams or having something there to at least, I had a similar thing, but I wasn't hopeless. I was just contented. It was that contentedness of it, which is just a very different sort of malaise to be in. You're just in a warm, comforting numbingness, and you just sort of drift through or just sail through life. And I myself am not. I when I realized what was going on with myself on that, I'm like, I cannot continue this. I gotta make some changes, whether they work out or not, because I don't know. I think that's I like having some sort of struggle, as stupid as that sounds. As infuriatingly annoying as that sounds. I have this, like, I have a phrase, and I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if I either learned it from something else or it was during one of writings that I've just internalized, but the struggle is what I live for, and not simply just having struggles, but also just the day to day, like enjoying doing those things, because I know that in doing these things they will help continue building me as a person. And I think that I get that there are limits to how we go about things. Like, once you hit a certain age, we tend to be like, oh, well, it's all downhill from here. And I mean, I get it. I mean, the atrophy of life and all that sort of stuff. But once again, my stupid brain likes to be defiant. It's like, no, that's not it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going until I'm in the grave, until there's dust in my bones. So, that's, even though I've been off and on with the YouTube channel and stuff, that's also why I continue to do the YouTube channel. I could be super sad, deflated, and defeated or whatnot, that I'm like, oh, I put out these things and I'm not getting all the attention that I so rightfully deserve. No, like, that's just stupid. Like, not only is it stupid, but it's you're seeking outside validation, and that's not healthy. I saw an article talking about self-esteem that I nearly had an aneurysm reading, because in one line just was like so cocksure about itself, where it was like, self-esteem is entirely dependent on external validation. And I was like, what? No. I mean, it can influence it, but no, it comes from within here. I'm sorry. But it comes from within. Like, there's no, like, that's where, like, your confidence and stuff, and certainly it can feed into it, but that's when it starts to taint it with that, like, egoism and all that sort of fun jazz. And I was so mad to see that there's this straight up talking about self-esteem, and they're just plainly like, yes, your self-esteem is totally tied to all that external validation. No. Self-respect comes from self-respect, because if you can't show your own self-respect, nobody else really has to, in a way. Like, they can be kind and stuff, and maybe they will try to help you, but I don't know. I really think that if you don't respect yourself, then I don't know. Like, I mean, I get that there's some people who put on a very strong mask and have that hiding deep in there. There's a German word for it, the thoughts in the back of the mind. But it's almost like the little devil that crops up to try to break that armor, because you put it on so snugly and so tightly, nothing else is getting through. So all of a sudden, nature in its fun ways are trying to find ways to kind of balance you out. You've been riding so high, I'm going to chop you at the knees. I'm going to get through back here, kind of thing. But yeah, so I can be one of those very supportive, but also supportive maybe to a detrimental sense of trying to, like, a sense of just trying to get people going, because it saddens me a bit that there are people who, of course, try to strive for something and then fail and then sort of sink down below. I think that happens a lot, is that we have all these dreams, and then instead of like trying to hit like a very, very lofty goal, but it's almost like doing a high jump or any sort of activity, or like say going for like a speed run on something, and just being like, oh, I'm gonna get top 50 or whatever, top 10, and you've never played the game before, kind of thing. Or maybe you have played it a little bit, but you're not like super in tune with the whole speed running thing, and then you play it and you find out you're like not even close. It can be deflating. A part of that's because of it's a lot of ego. We get infused with a lot of this. Oh, you can do this. You can do anything. And while that's, I think, healthy to a sense of dreaming, it doesn't. What it ends up doing is, because when that balloon pops, or you let the air out and it just sort of deflates, that that high, that up, it comes back down. Nature always exacts a price on everything, because it's trying to find that balance, that equilibrium. And yeah, what ends up happening then is that we just kind of tank, we give up on things, we try to find something else, and because we only have the dream but no map, no concept, no even just self-defined ideas of how to get there. And sometimes the same plan doesn't work twice, like even for something similar. For example, with the first book, with Sudraba, I wrote it by hand, where I wrote a chapter out and then I would type it out, wrote a chapter out, type it out, wrote a chapter out, type it, and I then went back through and edited, and had an editor look at a section of the story so she could give me pointers on what I need to fix and everything. Doing that, I tried to do that with this one, and I realized this new book that I'm working on, and I realized that after a chapter, and I tried to go back, I would get kind of not fatigued, but just sort of like I would want to go, and I don't know if it's because I already know the story really well from having wrote it out. I have 250 odd pages of notes about everything in the story. So I'm just like, I don't know if it's because of that I'm just kind of like, oh, where with Sudraba there was a little bit more of a murkiness, not with the climax of the story, because I started with that and then I worked my way up to it. But this one, it's like I already have all these ideas and everything, so it felt like let me go forward. So instead, what I did was, unfortunately, it wasn't until like the very end that I wrote it out a bunch and then went back and typed it, and basically just wrote that till that. And seeing this one is going to be a two-parter, I probably will have the same thing go on with this one, or with this with part 2, where I just start writing stuff out, and then once I hit a point where I'm like, let me step back and then go through with it. So, well, I'm just kind of going through it in there. I guess that's where that goes. But yeah, I guess what that was, that some plans for dreams and goals and whatnot. Thank you, phone. They don't work twice, even if it is like the same sort of thing. It's a lesson to learn. In one hand, it's kind of infuriating, but in another hand, it's like, okay, all right, I get it. Gotta keep the variables going. Gotta make things exciting. I see how it is, life. So, but I think a lot of times, however, we don't see that. We just see the failure and then just kind of blame ourselves, and we're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, Or just as bad is that the blame is externalized and then there's nothing wrong. It's always something else. Like I used to be very fatalistic myself, whereas just like, oh, fate, I get these really really crummy cards. Like for example with the ear, my parents, particularly my mother, said this, that the doctors told him that I wouldn't be able to talk, kind of thing, and here I am, chit chatting, blabbing away. But they said that I had a bunch of surgeries and whatnot, so pretty ostracized as a kid throughout elementary school into middle school, and then moved, and then it became less of a thing, and just kind of like, but because I had all that ostracization and just like not really meshing well with a lot of others when it came to new environments. Middle school wasn't so bad, but it was just still like very fragmented because it was like a new person. And then I moved again like a couple years after, and it took a while to get acclimated to that setting and those people and stuff, but became really good friends and with a lot of people, and was kind of seen as like one of those people that you can, like anybody in the school could talk to, sort of one of those kind of goobers. But yeah, I guess with that, I'm kind of feeling was that it's like these are the cards I got. This is the game I'm playing. So you just sort of play it without really. It's a very passive mindset, right? To have this, it's everything's fate, and it's or if not everything is fate, most of the big things that happen in your life are fated, and yeah, it's very the passivity of that is not something I've grown to be attached to. I actually really loathe it, and I think that's what I see with a lot of people, is that there's maybe not identified or realized fatalistic mindset, but maybe it is, and they just, because nihilist kind of thing, that's where they go straight to the end point and don't realize that it's all about the journey itself. It's like, yeah, we all die. Like a Hemingway quote that I really like is something, it's in a letter or something, but he writes about to this woman, I think, about how I think she was asking about one of his characters or something. What happened after this? Or like, why didn't you continue it or something? And he was like, all stories end in death. So that's not death itself isn't necessarily the interesting thing. So if you follow a character's story long enough, it ends in death, I think is closer of a paraphrasing than what I had there. And yeah, and it's like, it's the easy answer on stuff. And instead of accepting that, well, no, I wouldn't say instead of, but just accepting that, why not have fun in between, and not necessarily like, this is where I guess what's your idea of fun? For some people, fun is kind of coasting through, not really doing anything, just kind of being in that present moment sort of thing. And I'm not of that. Like, I don't mind the present moment. Present moment's fine. But I also like to build things, or at least do things that build up to something, like with writing or trying to better myself. I guess it's I've seen it somewhere on like a YouTube quote or something, or channel. Somebody commented and they're like, till somebody has like a brush with death or something, a lot of times all they're concerned about is the moment, money, or that sort of thing. And it isn't until after that they get concerned with legacy. And I'm probably in the legacy camp, for better and for worse. Man, I guess that's the game you play, right? You play which one will be more fruitful. And this gets back to the Robert Frost poem about the path less traveled, right? It's not to say, and I think this is what gets misconstrued, it's not to say that the path less traveled is the better path. That's not what's being conveyed at all. It's that the path less traveled has a lot of differences to it as opposed to the one that's more frequently traveled. But this is the path you're on, and you have to accept what that provides, what that offers. And if you don't like it, well, yeah, I mean, you can make an effort to try to get into that other path, or go the other way. But it's much better for you to learn to love the path you're on than to try to like fight it and try to bounce in between them, because then you're kind of going in circles, sort of thing. That, and also you're just not progressing. You're not moving forward. Whatever that may mean. I mean, progress into a pit is progress. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of some things I wanted to just really talk about. I had this other episode. I recorded it and everything, and I was just like, I don't like this. I may revisit that idea, but I was just like, I can't really. Like, I kept on repeating the same thing over and over and over. I noticed. I'm like, So, it is what it is. Yeah. So, thanks for listening to my Taylor talk. Wait, that's not quite right. But, yeah, we'll take a break, and then we'll get into the quote, and then we'll be on our merry way. So, stick around. Welcome back. That there's DAJIL, great town theme, and just the instrumentation for this one I really, really enjoy. So, I mean, I get it, it's a bit, I guess, cliched. It's a desert theme, or a desert town. I like it. That's all that matters. Anyways, I'm going to do a twofer for the quotes, because they're both going to be from Thucydides. Because I like Thucydides a lot, and I think that really would benefit people to read it and possibly see some similarities to what's going on in a lot of different places. Yeah. Anyways, the first quote is going to be... first quote is this. Be convinced that to be happy means to be free, and that to be free means to be brave. Therefore, do not take lightly the perils of war. Okay, so I think that explains itself. Don't be blasé into going into war. That's kind of a oops, kind of stepping in it moment there. It's been a lot of that in the last handful of decades. The other parts, that first part though, is important. Being brave, free, happy. I know that there are words that get tossed around a lot. I really have this very strong opinion that, honestly, I think at least in the U.S., people are not brave. There is a large swath of cowardice that permeates. I think of the Proto Men, where in the first album where Mega Man and Proto Man are fighting, that Proto Man is very, very, very upset that nobody else helped fight with him, and he basically goes bad, and he throws out the the question, are there any, or like maybe not accusation or question, but he throws down the gauntlet and is like, are there any of you who value freedom over life, or not freedom but courage over life? And I think that that's something that has been bled dry from a lot of people, is that that yeah, there are bad things that can happen, and courage doesn't mean going out recklessly into stuff. Like even the Lacedaemonians, the Spartans, chided people who fought with reckless abandon. The one dude from 300 who lost his eye, who was telling the story, and he fought in that was it Thermopylae? Whenever there was a fight after they tried to hold the pass and stuff years later, where they finally kind of booted the armies of Persia out, and he had felt so ashamed because he was sent home and everything, and to deliver the message, that he when he fought again, whenever he fought again, he fought with such reckless abandon that they loathed him for it. It's like, you have no, like, this is, you're just being a psycho. Like, and that's the other thing, right? Like, courage isn't just going out into reckless abandon and just being just wild with it. It's there to, you have your morals and your whatever, your essence, your ideas and such, and in the opposition of those things, to stand up against it and be like, no, no, stop this. This is stupid. And I don't think people have that. They'll be vocal about stuff, but I don't think, unless they are surrounded by others like them, and I don't think that's a healthy way to go about it. You have to be like courageous in self, not in a crowd. Because if you're only courageous in a crowd and the crowd isn't like that, then I think it's more opportune for browbeating and just kind of squashing the crowd, and just sort of taking the lumps. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's what I see. Anyways, the other quote that I have is, the bravest are surely those who have the clearest vision of what is before them, glory and danger alike, and not yet withstanding, go out to meet it. And this is the other kind of hook to this, is that people are far too vainglorious to where they are absorbed with wanting that glory. They may not openly express it, but I think like for myself, this is where words and action are, when you have this conflict. I put it in Sudraba because it's one of these things as well, because a lot of people are repeating it in that book, is that words are wonderful. They're a great way for trying to conceptualize and understand things, but they are not actions, and actions are what define you. That's what I believe. And when I feel like a lot of people who think that they are brave, think that they're courageous, a lot of times that they'll just say things, but they don't do anything. And it's similarly to how people have a lot of dreams and a lot of goals and aspirations, and they'll say them, but they don't do anything. And that's part of why I always want to be a helper and to kind of motivate and stuff, because it's like, don't just say it. Don't let your memes be dreams or whatever. Just do it. Is to just go. Like, just if you've got this dream of wanting to do this thing, just do it. Like, if you within the realm of not being a psycho, right? That's what That's what defines psychos. They have a crazy horrible dream and they just do it. Just don't do the crazy horrible dream. Just do the good dream. Oh my god. Oh man. Why? Oh, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's how my brain is on that. Um, yeah, just do it. Be brave, be strong, be courageous, and be of heart. And yeah, if anybody ever wants to talk to me about that, yeah, let me know. Let me know your dreams, goals, aspirations, and I'll try my best not to be a hey, this is what you can do, and I'll just try to be supportive. So yeah, that's it for me today on this wonderful rambling weekly. I enjoy your weekend, weekday, weeknight, everything in between. And yeah, the tune playing out to is Mebius. So I think it's a good one to kind of saunter off with. Not really sauntering, because I'm just literally going to hit the hit the mouse and be like that, and then probably go refill my teacup, and then I don't know, maybe do a little bit of kettlebells. I got some kettlebells over here. Do a little bit of kettlebell action before going into work. So that's it for me. Thank you. Have a good one and take it easy. Bye.